On behalf of the Alpha Kappa chapter, we are thrilled to welcome you to your voice, your vote candidate debate for South Carolina House District 49. And tonight is a vital opportunity to hear from the candidates who aspire to represent you. Representative John Richard King and Mr. Perry Sutton.
It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce our moderator for the evening, Mr. Dedrick Russell, an Emmy-nominated, award-winning journalist with more than 25 years of experience. Mr. Russell has long served the Charlotte community through his work at WBTV as community affairs reporter. He is known for highlighting stories that both inform and inspire. He is a graduate of Virginia State University and Syracuse University, and a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. He is married and has one daughter who is a 5th grade teacher in South Carolina. All right. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Dedrick Russell. All right.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Why don't you give yourselves a hand for showing up tonight? Yes. And you're not going to let any bad weather keep you from hearing from the candidates who are going to represent you in Columbia. I count it a privilege and honor to be here on tonight. This is good. Voter education is good and voter awareness is good. So hats off to Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated for doing this. And we also want to mind our manners. We want to thank the officials of the A.M. Zion Church for opening up your doors to let us have this opportunity. We thank you so much. So we're going to get right into it, but before we start, I want to give you the rules of engagement, how we're going to do this thing up here tonight. Respectful dialogue. You've heard them say that. We're not doing any personal attacks and insults by participants. That is prohibited. Participants must challenge ideas rather than individuals. As a journalist, we have to do evidence-based claims. I'm going to say that one more time. Evidence-based claims, meaning you can't come up here and tell me la-di-da and everybody told you this, right? You have to have attribution. All participants' arguments must be supported by sound reasoning, credible data, and verifiable sources. No interruptions, no interruptions. Speakers must not be interrupted except during a permitted point of information which they may accept or decline. So we applaud them for stepping up to represent you. So before we bring them up, just give them a round of applause to candidates. So I'm going to introduce the incumbent, Representative John King. And as I talk about you, you can come on up here and take your seat. Representative John King has served in the South Carolina House of Representatives since 2009, representing District 49. He serves on the House Judiciary Committee and the House Ethics Committee. A licensed funeral director with Christopher King Memorial Chapel, he provides compassionate care to families across South Carolina. He is a graduate of Morehouse College and Gunton Jones College of Funeral Service and holds a master's degree from Strayer University. He is a native of Chester, South Carolina. He carries forward the legacy of his father, the late Chris King, the first black mayor of Chester. Let's give it up for him. His challenger is Perry Sutton. Perry Sutton is a lifelong Rock Hill resident and former representative of Ward 5 on the Rock Hill City Council. He is a retired Chief Petty Officer and decorated U.S. Coast Guard veteran. He completed 30 years of service before earning his degree from Winthrop University. For more than 3 decades, he has mentored young athletes as a youth football coach and serves as president of the Sylvia Circle Demons Football Organization. Mr. Sutton is also a devoted husband to wife Alicia, father, and grandfather. We want to thank you for your service. Let's give it up for Mr. Sutton. Okay, well, let's get right to it. Representative John King. Oh, before we do that, we'll give you 2 minutes. Where's the timekeeper? Those are your timekeepers right there, so please keep an eye on them. We're going to start with your opening statement. You have 2 minutes each for your opening statement, and we will start with Representative King.
Thank you. Let me start off by saying thank you, Bishop Leeds and the AME Zion Church family, the AKAs of Rock Hill, Derek Russell for being the moderator tonight, as well as let me say thank you to the citizens of House District 49 for being here tonight, but most importantly for allowing me to serve you since 2008. I am John King, your state representative, who has represented you in Columbia in the General Assembly. I come from a long line of strong Black men and women who believe in public service. That is the way I was raised. Y'all, I believe in this community. I have fought for this community for the last 17 years. I fought to bring accessible health care right down the street, North Central, people with sickle cell and mental illness. I have made sure that about $10 million came into this district for infrastructural needs in the south side of Rock Hill. Clinton College heard today that I did nothing for Clinton College. Well, let me tell you, Clinton College received over $10 million up under my leadership when they became a college and was no longer a junior college. I have the receipts tonight to show you that, Mr. Russell, because you said we have to have those evidence. Let me tell you, up under my leadership, there's now a sickle cell registry. Sickle cell registry over this state for children who suffer with sickle cell. Now there's a registry so that they're not sitting in a hospital and being pegged as drug seekers. That is a bill that I passed. Redistricting. I stood firm on redistricting. Up under my leadership, and last night I was on a phone call with Jim Clark. And Jim Clark has come out in support of my candidacy and my re-election to the South Carolina House of Representatives. I'll get more into the conversation later. My time is up. Thank you all so much.
The program said 3 minutes. Was that 3 minutes or was that 2 minutes? You get 60 seconds.
I am fine. I will yield to my opponent.
Thank you. 3 minutes, Mr. Sutton.
Thank you. We'll do mine a little bit different. September 14, 1963, a child is born in the city of Rock Hill, and family lore says this child was the first Black baby born in the White Ward of York General Hospital. This baby came into the world changing things. This was the day before the 16th Street bombing in Birmingham, Alabama, where 4 little Black girls were killed. At 9 years of age, this child had 2 jobs. Working at the Illinois shop downtown and was a paper boy for the Evening Herald, showing the traits of an extremely hard worker. This young man was one of the captains of the 1980 Rock Hill High School football team, the first team to make the state playoffs for Rock Hill High School. He would later be inducted into the Rock Hill High School Student Athlete Hall of Fame, showing the traits of leadership. In 1982, this young man joined the United States Coast Guard, where he excelled, earning numerous awards, including Coast Guardsman of the Year. His last 13 years will be essential to the state of South Carolina. This man was part of the command cadre of military outlaw Charleston. This unit was responsible for the protection of the Charleston Harbor and South Carolina coast after we were attacked on 9/11. Working with other military branches, state and local governments showcases his ability to bring opposites together to achieve a goal for the protection and service of our citizens. He will retire after 30 years, 9 months, and 15 days of service. While serving in the United States Coast Guard, this man coached youth football in the city of Rock Hill, setting his stations in Charleston, Savannah, and Georgetown during football season. He would commute back and forth each day for practice and games, showcasing his love for the youth and their development. With his input, the guidance of Rock Hill has become known as Football City USA, encompassing his drive for excellence. This man went to the university and earned a BA in history and also be awarded the honorary doctorate for his community works. As a city councilman, this man created the Southside Ambassadors, the watershed evaluation team which won the first Governor's Award for collaborating with other municipalities, the York County Mental Health Task Force. He had Rock Hill join the South Carolina Fusion Center. He installed Rock Hill's observance of Veterans Day. And he led Rock Hill as they rebuilt Southside after the microburst in 2024. This man is me. And I want to take all these talents that I have to Columbia to work for you.
Thank you. The first question, and we'll address Mr. Sutton first. As you've been on the campaign trail, what are your constituents or your future constituents telling you their concerns, and what is your plan to fix it? Yes, 2 minutes.
So in District 49, and a lot of times we forget that District 49 encompasses the south side of Rock Hill, York County, and also the south side of York. I've been in York a lot. My mother's from York. But what most people are really concerned about is safety, and that's mental health, that also education is number one, but also infrastructure. Some of the things we've done here, and I know if you walk outside and you see a lot of people think there's the gas tanks coming up. It's not the gas tanks that's being pulled up. What is happening is, when I first got on city council, Southland Park and College Down were flooding. Like the rain we had today, they'd have been underwater. Got in, and I'm gonna make a long story short, we were able to acquire $13.4 million from the federal government. What you see out here now is the work and the money funding that we got to repair stormwater in this city. Starts over here at the park and runs all the way down to College Down. This is one of the major things that we have worked on here. Also the roads. If you notice that we just had Crawford Road just got repaved. If you notice already that the road has already been jacked up or drilled up, and it's because the pipes under the road. We need funding, and it needs to come from the federal government, it needs to come from the state government, but we can take care of the infrastructure before we put the money on the roads. Those are the major things that we're looking to take care of in District 49.
Representative King, you've been on the campaign trail. What are voters telling you, the issues, and what are you telling them on how you're going to fix it?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. The issue, I have not heard of many issues, but what I will say is I've heard people saying, thank you, Representative King, for the things that you have done and what you're working on. They have thanked me for standing up when others would not. But what I did hear from them is, John, some would ask, what have you done? What have you done? And when I would tell them what I've done, because I was raised in a family where you don't brag about what you do, you just do it. And so a lot of people may have not known what I've done, and since I've been on the campaign trail, I've had to tell people what I've done. I don't have to look at a piece of paper to tell you what I've done because I know it. I've gotten over $10 million for infrastructural needs in the south part of Rock Hill. Me and Denise Lara, who sits here, who was on city council, as well as Steve Love, we've gotten money for the city of York, for parks, for fire trucks, and for infrastructural needs there as well. I've also got over $3.5 million for North Central for a sickle cell program. Over $10 million up under my leadership for Clinton College. And the list goes on and on and on, and I can continue, but my time is running out. And I will continue tonight to tell you more. But one thing that I've done, I voted 100% of the time for public education, and I never shied away from being black. I'm unapologetic.
Let's tackle redistricting. That was in the news. It failed. Your Governor McMaster says, quote, President Trump needs a Republican Congress to continue pursuing conservative policies that make our nation stronger. I am confident that one day South Carolina's congressional delegation will be completely Republican. I am disappointed that day has not yet come. Even though it failed this go around, I'm pretty sure it's going to come up next time around. So my question to you, do you support the effort of redistricting? And while critics call it voter suppression and racial gerrymandering that could disenfranchise black voters, as candidates for House District 49, do you support or oppose these redistricting efforts? And what responsibility do lawmakers have to protect fair minority representation in South Carolina? We'll start with you, Representative King.
Thank you. The record would show that when we dealt with redistricting, there were 600 amendments. Your representative, John R. King, put up 300 of those amendments. I believe that redistricting at this time is bad. We do not have the census. We do not know the numbers. Redistricting affects everything in reference to leadership in our community. The writing is on the wall that they want to eliminate every black elected official in this state, and they started with Jim Clark. While the House was unable to stop it, we put in the fight. And one good thing that my colleague can tell you is that everyone comes to my desk, because one thing my dad taught me, he said, when you go somewhere, something that they don't expect you to do is know the rules. I know the rules. Most of the legislators come to me and say, John, how can we stop a bill? Because I know the rules and I put up 300 amendments, they changed the rule. And when they changed the rule, they took down the amendments, gave us 1 amendment per person, and gave us 3 minutes to speak on it. That's the fight I have with me. They don't want me there because I fight for my people. And if you all don't see it, I don't know what else to say. They have taken me over and over again doing redistricting. I was the most senior member on judiciary, and because I would not let them take this district, they would not put me on the committee because I said, you will not take District 49. If we change now, we may lose District 49 because seniority matters in the General Assembly.
That's right.
Candidate Sutton, do you support or oppose these redistricting efforts, and what responsibility do lawmakers have to protect fair minority representation in South Carolina?
So redistricting was foretold years ago. I blame those in office for not taking care of it. We should be proactive instead of reactive. If we took care of this years ago, we wouldn't have this problem. In the school district here, we've already lost a majority district. We are 39% in this city, 39% African American, 19% in this county, 25% in the state. If we don't get proactive, we're going to lose 1 or 2 of the minority majorities in the city. We're going to lose the minority majority in the county. And he's right, we're going to lose the one in the state, District 49. So those in office need to be doing something about it now. We don't need to wait till somebody calls from Washington and say, hey, y'all need to get rid of this, we should be working now. We should be walking across the aisles. We should be talking to some people. The Republicans have a supermajority, and you can't be the supermajority by being negative and fighting with them. You win a supermajority by going over and working with them to see how we can get together to try to make things better for us. That's what we're going to have to do with redistricting, so we won't have that problem.
Mr. Moderator.
30 seconds, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Let me say, that's the first and fundamental thing that you need to know if you are a legislator. Let me explain something to you. Me and Lonnie Harvey, he can stand and testify to this. I fought for single member districts at the state level for the school district. You know who was there fighting? John King. Where was my opponent? I was there fighting for single member districts 2 or 3 years ago, however long ago. Me and Lonnie Harvey drew the maps so that we would not lose seats in the city of Rock Hill or on the school board. That's what John King has done. And no one stood beside me but the Legislative Black Caucus.
Mr. Sutton, he did mention your name, 30 seconds.
So when you say, and out here fighting, I don't mind fighting, I want somebody winning. We've got to get in there and win. I heard my opponent say the other day on WRHI that he can't do nothing in the House because of the supermajority. He said that. I didn't say that. He said that. I can guarantee you, once I get down to the House, I can get things done. If you've been in the House for so many years, you should be over a commission. You should be over a board. I was in the city of Rock Hill 4 years and changed the south side of Rock Hill. There were all Republicans. There was 2 Democrats and the rest 5 were Republicans, and we made a difference. Don't tell me we can't win it. If you notice my life, I changed everything everywhere I went. I went into the United States Coast Guard, which was 4% African American, and I went up and did the thing. So don't tell me we can't do it. We can do it.
Thank you. I'll give you 30 seconds too, because he did say some things. He did make some accusations.
Mr. Moderator, let me say this to my constituents who I hope to continue to serve. There's not a skin bone in my body. Okay. I don't bow down to people.
You know that.
And let me tell you something that I can guarantee.
You know that.
Is that I'm not funded by Ralph Norman.
Woo! Come on.
I have to go to anyone but you.
That's it.
No one but you. And let me say this. I didn't call anyone's name. Being dog will holler. But I will tell you this, that I have represented you well. I have not sold you out.
All right.
And let me tell you, I'm on major committees because I can work with people.
Thank you, sir. You are on committees. You are on committees. All right, let's move on. We'll move on, and you can address that in your closing statement. Let's move on. Well, since you brought up, let's talk about campaign contributions and financial alignment.
Okay.
Both of you are running as Democrats in the majority African American district, where many voters strongly support policies related to voting rights, equity, public education, and economic opportunity. Some voters have raised concerns about candidates accepting campaign contributions from conservative or public politicians, donors, or businesses whose public records and policy positions may conflict with those values. Why should 49 district voters feel confident that those financial relationships will not influence how you represent the community? So I guess the first question, are you accepting contributions from conservative Republicans? And then if you are, then how is that not influencing your vote? And we'll start with Mr. Sutton.
Thank you. So I can get this straight, because there have been some, I'll just call it what it is, it's been lies told, and let's get them straight. So number one, I've never taken a penny for Ralph Norman, so let's stop that lie that we put out there, everybody. It's not one penny. But I will tell you this. For 37 years, I've coached youth football in the city of Rock Hill. Each kid, I have 90 kids every year, I got 90 kids coming up. At this point, each kid's equipment costs $1,000. That's $90,000, and many of you in here, sons have played for me, and you ain't paid one penny for your son to play for me. I also take these kids on trips. We've been to the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. We've been everywhere. But you know how I get that money? I get it from donations from different businesses in this city. Now, if that bothers you, if it bothers you that I take money to take care of these youth in the city, well then you come give me the money. I just told you I need $90,000 this year for this football team, and I need to take them on a trip. If it bothers you that we're taking care of this youth, you should be ashamed of yourself, because part of our problem is that we're not taking care of our youth. None of you are putting the money up to do it. I would not come out and say Paris Sutton is taking money from Ralph Lauren. I'd say Paris Sutton is taking care of our youth in the city. Thank you.
Representative King, what say you?
Thank you. I receive money from a spectrum of people, my family, my friends, and some entities that are aligned with our community. The moderator said earlier that if we make claims, we should have receipts. Who would like the receipts?
Me.
The receipts show that my opponent has received money from Republicans while he ran against my good friend, Nikita Jackson. So those funds, if he were receiving them for to take $90,000 to take the children on trips, it should not be on his financial statement for ethics in the state of South Carolina. Let me tell you something. I have received hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years for my campaign, and one thing you know, John has not sold you out.
So let's get this straight. First of all, John is taking money from Republicans because he called and told me that. But let's also get that straight. That was a nonpartisan race. That wasn't Republican or Democrat. Get the new one that's out there now. Don't send out false information. Get the new one and see. I'll take care of this myself. That's what you do.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about education when it comes to defunding South Carolina State University. Recently, a group of South Carolina Republican lawmakers called for the defunding of South Carolina State University after the university rescinded Lieutenant Governor Pamela Ebbitt's commencement invitation. Do you support or oppose efforts to defund public colleges or universities over political disagreements, specifically in the case involving South Carolina State University? Please explain your position. We'll start with Representative King.
I've been very clear about South Carolina State and the HBCUs. I even made a speech on the floor, and I hope I don't offend anyone, but our kids need to be going to HBCUs where they're loved and appreciated. I have supported South Carolina State when South Carolina State was on the verge of closing down. I was there a few years ago. I've stood firm and I've spoken out about South Carolina State in the recent days that you heard the Lieutenant Governor say, let's defund South Carolina State. I have a record of supporting HBCUs and especially South Carolina State. My record has shown that. I supported Clinton College. I support HBCUs. My parents taught us to love on ourselves, and love on myself is going to an HBCU, funding HBCUs, and giving back to HBCUs. And that's what I've done, and that's what my family has done. I don't know what else to say. Because when South Carolina State, and I don't know what my opponent is going to say, but if you all look at the record, he has yet to say anything about South Carolina State and what Pamela Ebbitt said about closing South Carolina State down. I was the only one that's in this campaign that stood 10 toes down for South Carolina State.
Since he talked about me being his opponent, no, I don't get on Facebook and fight. I'm a man of integrity. I think if you want to have a conversation with me, you come talk to me. For me to get on there and Facebook fight, listen, I set my life so that young people can see how to live. We getting on Facebook and fighting, and we expect them not to do it. No, I'm going to set the standard where we're not going to do that. So let's talk about South Carolina State. That problem, again, just like redistricting, should have been taken care of a long time ago. We were not proactive. We were reactive to the problem. Now, let's talk about Yvette getting invited down there. It was the state representatives that picked the heads up there to bring her down there. So that was, you want to bring it back to them, that was them. They were on the TV, they were on Facebook and all bragging on how they had selected this committee to bring it down there. So no. And then the other part, let me hit this. I can guarantee you, I've sent more kids to South Carolina State playing football than anybody else around here. For every college, I've sent more kids than anybody else. So don't say that I didn't do nothing for South Carolina State. Believe me, the president of South Carolina State, the football coach, know me very well because I send kids down there to get education.
Thank you. Let's talk about the hate crime bill. I guess South Carolina is one of 2 states still no hate crime bill. We had the Charleston 9, we've had, Crossbury and Myrtle Beach. Talk to me, what is it going to take to get a hate crime bill passed? And what are the efforts and what do you plan to do if you get elected to get a hate crime bill passed? We'll start with Mr. Sutton.
So once I got elected to city council, one of the first things I did was took the mayor, city manager, and some other of my city council members down to Charleston, because that's what I did. I was in law enforcement for 30 years. And I took them to Charleston to the Flexi Center, which is the federal law enforcement center. At that point, we joined, well, most of you don't know, City of Rock Hill has joined the Fusion Center. It is where we work together with all the other municipalities and law enforcement so that we can help each other become better. To pass this crime bill, we're going to have to go across the aisle. Now, you said that they have a supermajority. We've got to cross the aisle and say, hey, we got to work together. The only way we're going to do that is through law enforcement and then working together. We can get it done, but we're going to have to work together to get it done.
Representative King.
Thank you. I'd like to say Mr. Speaker because I'm always talking on the floor. But thank you. Let me say that the South Carolina House passed the hate crime bill. The Senate did not. I sit on judiciary and I'm the one who named it the Clemente Pinckney hate crime bill. I, with my amendment to the bill, changed the name of in honor of her. Now, let me be very honest with you. I support the hate crime bill, but I'm conflicted about it. Because I believe at the end of the day, if we as a people look at what the hate crime bill can do adversely to our people, we have to look at it and think about it. It gives more of an opportunity for other groups to say that there's a hate crime against them that then adversely affect our little young black boys and girls. While I support it, I think that there has to be some tweaking to it, some protections in there, because I know it's important. I understand the importance of a hate crime bill. And I want you all to know I voted for it. And it passed out of the House over to the Senate, and the Senate dropped the ball on it. The Senate rules are different. One senator can stop something. And that's what happened. So we worked across the aisle, up under the leadership of the chairman of the Legislative Black Caucus, Annie E. McDaniel. She passed with her caucus a hate crime bill, which I'm part of, out of the House. The Senate has not passed it.
Let's go to public safety and welfare. As you know, District 49 is diverse, strong African-American communities, Jamaican, Hispanic, and other communities of color, whose safety, public rights, and sense of belonging should be protected. In this crackdown with ICE agents roaming the streets in the community, tell me, what can you do as a lawmaker, and what specific safeguards would you support in District 49 to protect residents' constitutional rights, dignity, and ability to go about daily life without intimidation? We'll start with Representative King.
Do you mind repeating the question one more time?
Yes, District 49, home to strong African-American, Jamaican, Hispanic, and other communities. What specific safeguards would you support in District 49 to protect residents' constitutional rights, dignity, and ability to go about daily life without intimidation?
Absolutely. I am not a supporter of ICE. I have been very vocal about that. We have to protect our citizens. We have to stand up. We ought to not allow government to have contracts. I voted against cities and counties having contracts with ICE agents that they can come in and intimidate the citizens of our community. This is the engine to our community, a diverse group of people living and working here. It's the economic engine to our community. We have something that's much bigger than worrying about immigrants coming in. But let me say this to you. While many of us look at it and say, okay, this is a Hispanic issue, we have our African brothers and sisters who are being targeted, our Jamaican brothers and sisters who are being targeted, and we cannot allow it. We cannot turn our backs on it. We have to be steadfast, and we have to go to city council and tell them, listen, do not sign on to any agreement that allows ICE. We have to go to our county council and the sheriff and say, let's work together so that we don't have ICE in our community. These people are not disruptive. They're just wanting to live a nice, wholesome life. So I do not support anything that involves ICE coming into our community.
Well, working in the United States Coast Guard, I did migrant interdiction. One of the worst days in the Coast Guard, we was off the coast of Dominica, stopped a boat that was built for 7 and had 37 in it. We took them on our boat and we took them into Puerto Rico. It was the first time I'd ever seen ICE. They came on board and put them in plastic cuffs. And I said, where are you taking them? Taking them to Miami, right? They said, no, we're taking them back to Dominica. They had spent their whole life savings, which was $40 a piece, to come over here. We sent them back. That was in 1985. This problem has been going on for years. President Obama tried to get this taken care of from the federal level, and nothing was done. We from the state have to go to our legislators, our federal legislators, and get this taken care of. This is something we cannot keep kicking down the road. It is something that we have to take care of now. I'll give you another example. I had a young football player that played for me. Going into his junior year, his mother was picked up. She spent 3 years down in Atlanta before she finally went back. He went through college and he went through high school, last 2 years of high school and college without his mother here. It was because of ICE. We've got to take care of the problem. And you know what happens? We'll have these discussions up here in the debate and then they drop it. You want somebody who's gonna go down there and do it because I have personal stories, I'll go down there and make the change.
Last question before we go to the audience questions. Evidence matters. Evidence matters. So for Representative King, what are the top 3 bills you led that directly benefited District 49, and what were the measurable outcomes can you point to? And then for candidate Sutton, what are your top 3 things that you did while you were representative of Ward 5 on the Rock Hill City Council that you can measure the outcome from you doing it? Okay. We'll start with Representative King.
Thank you. And as a minority in the General Assembly, when I say minority, I'm saying Democrat. So I have a litany of bills that I introduce, but most of our things as minorities go in as amendments. So majority of the stuff that I've gotten through the General Assembly has been through amendments. Okay? So I've done the sickle cell legislation, I've done infrastructural stuff within the budget, I've done stuff in dealing with healthcare needs such as mental illness in the budget. I've done community college. I have a litany of things up here. I've done parks and recreation. I've done public educational things in the budget. South Carolina State. I've done funding for South Carolina State in the budget. For the microburst that hit this community, I got over $500,000 for it. And Representative McDaniel and others can tell you as minorities, we don't pass many bills in the traditional sense. What we do is we tag on to other bills like amendments, and that's knowing the rules. And we get things passed that impact our community. And those are things that we do as a minority. Don't let anyone fool you as a minority that you're going to go down there and pass a bill without getting it through as an amendment.
What have you done when you were on Rock Hill?
When I got on Rock Hill City Council, I was told the same thing. I'm here now, you can't get anything done. And then they said you have to read it. I have to read it because I've done so much. Let me start off. And I told you South Carolina Fusion Center. We went down and joined that. York County Mental Health Task Force. Let me stop on that one for a second. Right after the NFL player killed Dr. Leslie and his family, I had people calling me saying, you got to do something. You got to do something. You got to do something. I'll make a long story short. When I was trying to do something, every mental health person ran away from me, walked away from me. The only person that was supporting me was the mayor, and he gave me the operations center. We have now formed York County Mental Health Task Force. We have 60 plus mental health professionals that are working to bring a mental health facility here. That is what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring it here. We've seen one in Charleston, North Charleston, $65 million. We're going to do $70 million here. We have federal funding, state funding, city funding, and we're going to use the hospital to bring it here. Now, if you look out this door and walk out and look at Armory Park, just next door to us, that's $2.4 million. If you remember the storm water, I told you $13.4 million. If you ride down the street and go to Emmett Scott, that's $13 million, Emmett Scott and McGirt. If you go on down to College Down, you see another $9.something million. There are many things that we have done here in 4 years. I would ask that for each 4 years you name the things that I've done, if my opponent can name the same things that I've done. It's impossible.
All right, we have questions from the audience. I have a question for each of you, and then I have a question for both of you. This question is directed to candidate Sutton. What has Representative King voted for or against that you would have voted differently as a state representative, and why? What has Representative King voted for or against that you would have voted differently as a state representative, and why?
I think Representative King has done a pretty decent job. I really do. I voted for him. But he's been there 17 years. And right now we're at a stalemate. I'll tell you like a man told me. We're taxing. And we know it. 49, we're taxing. You look at our roads in 49. Matter of fact, there was just $9 million that came into this area. None went to District 49. That was just in the budget. We're taxing. We need a new pilot. I'm your new pilot.
Representative King, someone asked, you have been in there for a while, and their question is, why are you still the right individual for this job after serving for nearly 2 decades?
Plainly said, I've got the job done. I have proven myself to District 49. Not only in Columbia, but when there's been tragedy in this community, I've been there. When the Price brothers were beaten in this community and there was a peaceful protest, I was there. When there was a microburst, I went to Columbia and brought back money. I don't know what the city did with it because it came to the city through my request for families to offset whatever their insurance did not pay. Receipts for that if you need it. So I'm a proven leader. And let me say this to you all. I want you all to understand why Mr. Sutton exposes my record and I expose his record. When this is all over, our community has to heal.
That's right.
We have to come together because the greater good is what we have to do.
That's right.
Because what is about to happen in this state and in this country, we have to come together.
That's right.
Because I see the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
They're calling the Senate in on June 10th. And no telling when they're going to call the House in, and they're going to start eliminating districts across the state, in the counties, from the county councils and school boards.
That's right.
The writing is on the wall. And if we don't have someone in Columbia
All right.
that's going to protect black folk and our vote,
Yep.
we will lose it.
That's right.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Let me clear the record on the microburst, because my opponent, I'm glad he didn't say that he was here, because I was here cutting trees. Matter of fact, some of you all, I cut trees off of your property so that you could get out. He said that he got $500,000. Let me tell you, when this happened, between cutting trees and going into meetings, we didn't get any support. The only support we got from the state legislature was from the senator. We didn't get anybody else here. And you want to know where that money went to? 50 houses have been taken care of from roofs, 45 on the side. We gave that to the municipal housing development corporation to take care of that problem, and they've been second to none.
Thank you.
Wait a minute.
30 seconds, please. 30 seconds.
Let me tell you, I don't know what the city did with the $500,000.
But we know you got it.
But I sent it to Rock Hill. Habitat for Humanity can tell you, because we talked, and after I sent it to the city of Rock Hill, I said, oh my God, I should have sent it to Habitat for Humanity. And we were in discussion trying to divert it back over to them because I did not know what the city was going to do. And still, to be honest with y'all, know what they did. Obviously, my opponent doesn't know because he said he doesn't know anything about the $500,000 and he was sitting on city council.
I did not say that. What I said, if you want to know what happened to the money, go right around the south side of Rock Hill and look at the roofs. Everybody has a new roof. Don't fool me.
Okay, thank you.
Look on the roofs and see the roofs.
This next question, this is for both of you. In what ways, if any, have you been involved with addressing the issue of voter suppression here in York County and the state at large? In what ways, if any, have you been involved with addressing the issue of voter suppression here in York County and the state at large? We'll start with Representative King.
Well, let me apologize to you all that have all had to ride out to Holiday Inn. Let me apologize to you. Nikita Jackson, myself, and Gwen Finley met with voter registration through phone calls, wondering why were they moving our precincts. They didn't just move the one here in Rock Hill.
That's right.
They even moved the one in York.
That's right.
Now, for in York, me and Steve Love spoke to voter registration. That is voter suppression.
That's right.
That is voter suppression. Now, what I've done in reference to voter suppression is I fought against voter ID. I was there. I fought against having to make people go and get an ID when we have elderly people in our community who don't even know the day that they were born and don't even have a birth certificate. We have women who have gotten married and they cannot access their divorce decree. So we have a major problem of voter suppression in this state, but John King has stood firm with you in fighting for it. Y'all watch ETV. You can go back and look. I raised hell for District 49.
Come on.
And they know you down there. Because every time I get up, I talk about the constituency that I serve, and I've never turned my back, and I've never been afraid to talk about issues that affect the black community.
Thank you.
So what we've done here, I also, like you did, went and talked to the voter registration to ask why that we moved those places. And I got excuses. The first one was that Cutting College, they were doing work on the library. And then I heard other things that I didn't believe. Myself at that time didn't have the power. I wasn't at District 49 at the house, the State House, to do anything. But I did voice my opinion. But you know, this is the next thing you do. So when you get put down, you find something else to do. So what we started doing was offering rides. We have a church bus just riding around, bringing people to the polls. That's how you take care of the problem. That's what they did back in the 60s. When they had voter suppression, they got together. So we started doing that and taking our people to the poll to make sure they vote. We get it out and bring them in. That's how you take care of voter suppression when they put stuff down on you.
Okay. Next question. There is currently a data center under construction in York County. What is your opinion on the proliferation and construction of the existing and additional data centers given the environmental and community impact? We'll start with Mr. Sutton.
While on City Council, those data centers tried to come to Rock Hill. We did our homework and found out how much power they will be taking away from you, the citizens. You don't want a data center in your area. Not only does it take power away, but also the ramifications, cancer causing or whatever else can come. Also, there's a depreciation of the equipment. So a lot of people bring it in because they think they're going to make money from the equipment. They're going to make it off taxes. It depreciates so fast that you don't make anything off of it. So that's why the city of Rock Hill did not let it in. I do think that state legislators need to put some kind of parameters up so that we won't have as many data centers in. But they're trying to come in here. Many of them.
Well, I guess that is something that he and I both agree on, and I feel the same way. It will, for a large data center to come into Rock Hill or into York County, it would take about, if a large one come, about 300,000 gallons of water a day, or almost a minute or so. Let me tell you, data centers are not what we need. They do not hire a lot of people, so it's not anything when it comes to economics. It could potentially raise your utility bills, so I'm totally against them. I don't believe that they need to be here, but I believe that because they are coming to South Carolina, we have to be forward thinking. We have to talk about them and educate ourselves on them, and I want your input. I don't have the answers to everything, but I want to hear from you all. What are your concerns? How do we navigate data centers coming when I hear that there's one already coming to York County? How do we navigate it as a community? And so I would need your input, but me and Mr. Sutton do agree that those are conversations that we have to have with our constituents.
Question for both. With so much tax revenues being pumped into other states from legalized gambling, would you support making gambling, such as casinos or sports betting, legal in South Carolina? Representative King.
Thank you. I have supported gaming in South Carolina. I believe that our citizens are going to Biloxi, they're going up to North Carolina, they're going all over, and I mean, some people may disagree with me. This may be a one that you and I just may not agree on. They are bringing them to South Carolina. The law is there for them to come. And so I have supported, don't know, how it will be navigated, but they're looking at it, doing it on the 95 corridor. And down 26, I want to believe, down in Orangeburg. We don't see it. There's some interest in this neck of the woods, but it's more on the reservation. So those are conversations that we are having, but what it does, it will employ people. It will give jobs, but there are safeguards that we first must put in place to safeguard the citizens from overusing and doing gambling. But it is coming to South Carolina. There's a bipartisan support, and because of the bipartisan support, we have to be ready for it. And that's the reality.
We already have gambling here in South Carolina, and the way you do it is you get on a boat and you go out into either the rivers or the oceans, and you can gamble. By the time in the Coast Guard, we had to do security on those boats. We had to make sure that they were safe. So it's already here, and he's right there. Matter of fact, there's one being looked at and almost approved, and I think y'all had something to do with it down in Orangeburg. So they're coming, but we have to, like you said, we have to work together to make sure. Because if you remember when we had the gambling machines around here, how many people were starting to struggle because they're becoming addicted to those machines. And I know we had a lot of family members that were. So if that comes to fruition, we've got to find a way to take care of our people, and that goes back to the health side of it, Medicare side of it.
Since my daughter is a teacher here in Columbia, South Carolina, tell me, with teacher pay, do you support increasing teacher pay? And let me know, how much do you think a teacher should start off at?
I know that's right.
Listen, y'all, my mom was a public school teacher, and I've taught on the college level over at Clinton College. But let me say this to you. Teachers should be paid six figures for what they have to put over.
You got that right.
I have supported teacher increase every year. I believe I've supported state employees every year. The reality is we have to figure out a way to pay it.
Yeah.
I believe that the teachers should be the most paid folk in any profession, because they make the doctors, they make the lawyers, they make the other teachers. But the reality is if we raise their pay, then we're raising taxes on the people. So we have to know how to navigate it. But let me say, I have 100% of the time supported any increase for teachers. I think the base now is about $50,000, and I've heard some of my school board members here say we sent as a General Assembly an unfunded mandate back to the counties. Those are things that I did not know when I voted for the $50,000 threshold to make it equal across the board. But I want to hear from the education community. How do we navigate this to make sure that teachers are paid fair? And I do support public education. I support paying teachers. And I've done that my 17 years of being in the General Assembly.
Six figures. I'm going to get off of six figures for teachers. Mr. Sutton, what say you?
I'm going to take it a step further. My wife and my son teach. And I'd love to have that money in our house. I know they go through every day. Also, as a coach, I understand. I get those kids. And I understand. I've been in the school. So, yes, I believe 100% in the funding. I also understand about taxes. But here's another thing that we can do. I'm part of the Rock Hill Schools Foundation. And what we do is we do educator grants, we do back-to-back, and we do student celebrations. And we don't go to the state for the funding. We go out here to the businesses. We go out here to people, and we ask for funding to take care of our teachers. We've given, I think, $38,000 last year in educator grants. We do that every minute. You in here have gotten educator grants because you wrote grants and we're taking care of you. So those are some things that we're going to have to come up with. If you don't want your taxes raised, to take care of our teachers.
How much you think they should make?
Millions.
Million.
How many teachers agree with me?
No, I don't know about that. They know they can't make
Question for both. What specific policies will you introduce or change in your first 90 days? We'll start with Mr. Sutton.
So I've already told you, my first 90 days, we're going to work on bringing a mental health facility to this area. And it's not just District 49. If you have a mental problem right now, if I have a mental problem right now, this is what's going to happen to me. I'm going to Piedmont Medical Center, and I'm going to sit there at least 180 days. At least. More than likely, I'm going to be there 360 days. We've got to do something about that. I told you, I've already figured out the funding. We went down to North Charleston to see what they did. They used federal government, they used state government, they used city government, and they used the hospitals to make this happen. That's how we're going to take care of that problem.
Did you name 3? You just had mental health, you have 3, you have just mental, that's the first thing you're going to do, just mental health.
Okay, let me finish, because I got stuck on that. Number 2 is infrastructure. And I said that many times. We have some of the worst roads in District 49. If you don't believe me, go ahead and ride on them. And then next is stormwater, which is part of infrastructure. We've got to take, many of you all have $400,000 or $500,000 houses, and you don't know the day you might flood it. We've got to take care of that problem.
Representative King, here are 3 specific policies you will introduce or change in your first 90 days.
Thank you. Y'all, we have an affordability crisis in this state.
Yes.
And if you look at affordability, it impacts everything that we do.
That's right.
So we got to deal with the wages, increasing the minimum wage in this state. That is one of my main things that I'm going to work on, is increasing the minimum wage. It's something that I've been working on for years. And with the help of you all, if we can take more seats in the state General Assembly, we can make things come to fruition. That's one thing. My second thing that I've been working on, and I will continue to work on, is the expansion of Medicaid in this state. Expansion of Medicaid in this state is going to be one of my things. And alongside Mr. Sutton, because I believe in my heart that when I signed up this time to run for office, and I sit in my car before I went in, and knowing that my mom goes with me, but she stayed at home that day. I asked God, I say, let your will be done. And if his will is done and I'm re-elected, I will work with Mr. Sutton, because I have mental health issues directly impact my family. And that is something that I saw firsthand when we tried to navigate the system, and what they wanted to do was first put you in jail. They don't take you over to Piedmont. They take you over to the Marsh Justice Center. And under the Republicans and under Reagan, hospitals were closed.
That's right.
Mental health
That's
hospitals
right.
were closed, because we remember Bull Street. Not old enough to remember.
Yep.
They closed those hospitals around the state. So he's exactly right. Mental health is something that we have to work on.
That's right.
And there has been mental health legislation that I've introduced, and amendments to the budget that I've introduced, dealing with mental health in this state.
Thank you. We're going to stay with healthcare. South Carolina lawmakers are currently advancing several abortion-related bills, including South Carolina Senate Bill 1095, which would ban abortion at all stages of pregnancy, criminalize women seeking abortions. In fact, if you're seeking abortion, it would be considered a misdemeanor, or 2 years in prison and a $1,000 fine. And for people who perform an unlawful abortion could face 20 years and or a $100,000 fine. As a candidate for House District 49, where do you stand on these measures, and how do you balance your personal beliefs with concerns about women's health care, access, criminal justice, and government involvement in private medical decisions? We'll start with Representative King.
Thank you. I don't believe that elected officials should tell women what to do with their bodies.
Yes.
Let me say this to you. My mom is the mother, and I have about 60, 70 nieces and nephews, so apparently my family doesn't believe in abortion. But I will say this. While I don't believe personally in abortions, it is not for me as a legislator to legislate what people do with their bodies.
That's right.
Or how they navigate their medical needs. I believe that what we will see if that bill passes in South Carolina, we as men will be scrambling because we will not have doctors coming to South Carolina because they will be afraid to practice in South Carolina. So not just women should be worried, but men should be worried as well. I don't believe that this bill will pass. We will fight tooth and nail if they bring it up in the next legislative session. But I have been on record for the last 17 years voting for anything that strips the rights away from women, their doctors, and their families.
This is another thing that we can agree on, but this is also was a thing that people use words to misrepresent other people. So I was talking to a Republican the other day, and he told me that we Democrats, we're God-fearing people, but we believe in killing babies. Because they're using abortion saying that we're killing babies. That's not true. I believe, just like Representative King, is that you all have a right. It is not my job to tell you what to do with your body. If you have a right to decide what you do between you and your doctor, that's who has the right to make a decision on this. And so we have to stop the narrative, and I give the Republicans, they've been bad on messaging. Our messaging sucks. If our messaging was better, we wouldn't have the messed up things that we have in between the two parties. So we got to work on our messaging on that, because nobody in here wants to kill a baby. Nobody in here is a killer. So we need to get that straight.
Staying with healthcare, expanding Medicaid, what's your stance on that? And why hasn't it been done? And why or why not? And what impact do you believe expansion would have on rural healthcare access and the state budget? Talk to me about extending the healthcare, Mr. Onside.
So let's talk. I'm sorry, I'm up there.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Medicare. I deal with a lot of kids, and they play sports, and a lot of parents are afraid to bring them out there because they're afraid they're going to get hurt, because things have been cut, so they don't have the funding to take care of this. Also, I'm of age, and many of us are of age. And when you talk about cutting health care, it's going to start affecting us. I'm blessed that I was in the military, so they take care of me, but most of our people are not. Only 1% serve in the military. So the rest of us, like my wife and my son, they got to find the ways, or we got to find ways to take care of them with health care. So I believe in the expansion. We just have to find a way. The biggest thing for everything that we do is funding. We've got to find a way to find the funding to take care of that. Now, that could include, the legislators just gave themselves a raise and give some of that money back. We might be able to do something with that.
Thank you.
Let me address that the Medicaid expansion was money coming from the federal government that we just did not take.
Right.
So the state wouldn't have to do anything and but just sign the dotted line and say, we're expanding Medicaid. Medicaid will bring in billions of dollars if we expand it into this state. The effects of not doing it, rural hospitals are closing
That's
in
right.
South Carolina.
That's right.
People who look like us can't access health care. They can't even go to the emergency room in their community. And not to pick on my sister over there, but in Annie's hometown of Fairfield, the closest hospital to them is either Chester or Columbia.
That's right.
Rural hospitals closed because Medicaid was not expanded.
Yeah.
The reason why it was not expanded, because of who? It was President Obama sending money through the Affordable Care Act down to the states, and the Republicans did not want to take the money. So it was money coming into the state of South Carolina. So that's when we talk about expanding Medicaid, it's not the state funds that you're talking about. We're talking about the federal money coming to the state to subsidize so that we can keep hospitals open and so people can access health care. Now let me go back and tell you, he mentioned, give me an extra 30 seconds because he mentioned a raise that the General Assembly got. Well, let me tell you all, the General Assembly gets $10,400 a year to go to Columbia. We get $1,000 a month for in-district expenses, which they don't give us an office, so we would have to pay someone to do the work, send out letters, whenever our work is done in our districts. Let me say, we were just talking about school teachers and how much we want to pay them. Not one school teacher would give up their job to go to Columbia 6 months out of the year for $10,400 a year. Plus you get a stipend a week of maybe $100 or $200 a day, but then you have to get a hotel room when you're down there. So y'all don't get it confused. I don't make $100,000. I may make in a total year of going down there with everything, even the money I have to take out to pay whoever works at my funeral home to write letters to you all or to take away from the business that I have at my funeral home, to actually work for me as a legislator, about $25,000 to $30,000 a year as a legislator, and I'm gone 3 to 4 days a week.
Thank you. Quickly, 30 seconds.
Yeah, we got to rebut that. So it is $1,000 a month coming into this district. I promise you, when that $1,000 comes to me, I'm going to give it to nonprofits so you can take care of the young people. Also, that's $240 a day that they get for per diem down there. If the correct number is closer to $60,000 that they make.
Let me say this to you. I will give you all my W-2 that the state gives me. I can guarantee you it's not $60,000. I am very transparent. It is public record. You all can have it. And let me say this, we do not have a district office in York County, something that I've been fighting for. And guess what I can do as a legislator? Because I don't have a district office. I can send a bill to York County, and they have to pay me. Ask me how many dollars or how many times I've asked them to pay me. Zero. Zero. And that is a law that I can ask them to give me a check because they don't give me an office in York County.
Google how much South Carolina House representatives make.
It makes it out.
But the other part is, if it's only 45 minutes away, I can drive back and forth every day. I would drive back and forth to Charleston every day. So driving back and forth to Columbia is not a problem.
See, and no. Because my constituency has said that they have not seen me. Let me explain to you, my days start sometime at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we may not get out of session at 1 o'clock. I'm not driving back up here to you all at 1 o'clock at night, jeopardizing my life, and you all having to bring me into, because this is why I want my funeral.
So listen, I did ask some questions. I'm going to give one person in the audience to ask a question. If you have a question, and you have a succinct question, not a dissertation, if you have one question that you want to ask, come up here. In the red sweater, come up here. I mean, I'm red shirt. Yes. Hurry up.
You got one to that little boy.
and I will hold the mic.
Come on.
Just ask your question.
Good evening, candidates. The question is this: what are you going to do to bring a grocery store to the south side of Rock Hill, South Carolina, because it is a food desert? Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. We recognize that there is a food desert in the south side of Rock Hill. Every time that we've met and talked about a grocery store, I met with Funk Roddy, I met with Nikita, and she will tell you they have a number of rooftops that they are counting is what grocery stores are telling us. Now that I have some people that I can work with that are on city council, that is absolutely on county council, I believe that we can make this come to fruition because we have already started working on that alongside with Councilwoman Nikita Jackson.
So let me give you the correct answer. When I got on city council, that was our number one thing. If you remember, down at 5 Points, there was supposed to be a grocery store. Myself, Councilman Lindsay, and the mayor went to Washington on 3 different occasions, trying to get funding and trying to find the correct grocery store for here. And he is right. They told us we didn't have enough rooftops. So what did we do? We started bringing in housing, and we bringing in rooftops to this area. The next thing we had to do was take care of infrastructure. I can tell you this, I never heard from the school board because they were suing us, never heard from the county because they were suing us. The 3 of us, I can promise you this, in the next 3 to 4 years, you'll have a grocery store. It's already in the works. We're just waiting for it to happen. So don't wait on them, we're gonna get you one.
All right, look, next question. Just a question.
There's hello, good evening, everybody. How you doing? Y'all look beautiful. All right, there's a saying, it says, I fear I may have integrated my people into a burning house. Does anybody know who said that? Martin Luther King, amen? My question to the legislators are, the African American community, us working together, how are we going to work with organizations as well as, because it's not a race line, how are we going to work with other local organizations as well as businesses to fund educational programs, summer programs, STEAM programs, creative directive programs, AI programs for students at early literacy age, middle school, to be able to prepare them for life skills?
Mr. Sutton.
So we're already doing that. Just last week we opened up a new literacy education center to Davion Clowney, and his wife opened up on Cherry Road. That's one that we've done. We continue to work through the foundation to take care of our young people through educational needs to make sure that they have all the things that they need so that they can grow and become better citizens here.
Okay, we're going to give this question to Representative King.
I want to speak, I want the candidates to speak to the hatred that is being spewed from the White House by our leader, Donald Trump, and how it spreads out into the communities. And what is your take on the president speaking on things and calling us things like Democrats, and how does that affect us as a community, and what will you do to, because perception means something. I know we don't want to jump out and, argue on social media and things, but how do you feel about that, and what can we do as a Democratic Party about those types of things?
Representative King.
Well, if you follow me on social media, I'm always saying something when it comes to the man up there in the White House. Let me say this. We are some resilient people. And regardless of what he says, one thing that I've noticed, me and Mr. Sutton have been at the polls and we've been shaking hands and asking people to vote for us. I believe that our people have heard the message. They're voting in numbers. And they're coming out. And the only way that we can change what is happening up there is for us to stop saying that our votes don't count. Because absolutely, if our votes did not count, they wouldn't be redrawing lines. And I may not be answering your question the way you want me to answer it, but the only way to cure the issue of the felon that is in the White House is for us to vote him out. And let me say this. The method to the madness, and many of you may not understand this, of redrawing lines. It's not all about him just redrawing lines. If they get enough legislators in the Senate and the U.S. House, they can tamper with the Constitution. Our rights, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, is on the chopping block. And until we wake up and realize what is happening, then we're going to always be where we are. And so what I'm going to encourage you, regardless if you vote for me or if you vote for my opponent, you got to take all your family members, all your friends, and don't stop on June 9th. We get you in November. And regardless of what side you're on today, and if you get upset because I won or my group get upset because Perry wins, we got to go out there and vote in greater numbers to make sure that the Republicans come home.
Thank you. This is the last question. The last question for the public here will be for Mr. Sutton.
Hello, my name is Mary Hunter, and I'm with Affordable Housing for the Carolinas. I'm the executive director. My question for you is, what are you doing and what is your stance on affordable housing, considering rental properties, homelessness, as well as homeowners?
Very good question. I'm a board member of the Rock Hill Housing Development Corporation. So what are we doing? Rapid rehousing is probably one of the best programs that's out there. What we're doing, and I'm part of this program, we're taking families who are homeless. And I don't know if you all know this. If a single mother has kids and one of the boys is over 13 years old, he can't live here. He can't live here in their shelter. He can't live in the shelter. They have to go to North Carolina. We have 2 homes right now that we place families in. I'm gonna tell you, the day they come in and walk through that house and they come back and they start crying, I have to crack jokes so I won't cry. I tell them, listen, you're gonna mess this carpet up so I can clean it again. That is one of the ways we're doing it. That thing, we get money from HUD, from the federal government, to take care of that problem. Rapid rehousing is one of the best things there. We've also, if you go down Kappa Bypass, we've teamed up with the Housing Authority to build affordable housing. There are many other places where we're building affordable houses in the city of Rock Hill. But here's the thing, we're gonna need more money from the federal government, and we need the state to push us to get more money so that we can take care of it, because everybody's not blessed. I'm blessed. I'm still can walk around and work, but everybody, some people have illnesses, they have other things where they can't. And getting back to what Representative King says, one thing we have to do, we got to unify. You know how you take care of Trump? We unify. You know the only thing that can conquer hate? It's love. And once we learn that, because that's what they did in the 60s, they started loving on each other and they worked together and they overcame. We've got to get back to loving on each other. Whether you hate Representative King or you hate me, we got to come together. Some of the stuff I see that people say to each other on Facebook, now we need to leave that alone. We need to leave that alone and come back together and work to do God's work.
Thank you. So this is the last question. This is the last question. The last question. And we're going to get to Representative King. Last question.
Yes, question.
Make it good, sis.
All right. As the district continues to attract new businesses and residents, what is your plan for ensuring that economic growth translates into quality jobs and opportunities for long-term residents and not just newcomers?
Representative King.
Whereas a state legislator, a lot of the economic development goes through our cities or our counties. But I can tell you what I've done as a state legislator. When the Panthers came before us to locate into Rock Hill, I was the legislator that said, oh, even though it's going into Rock Hill, I have questions. They were trying to pass it through. My first question was, how is it going to impact my district, employment-wise? How many contracts are going to be given to black, or not minorities, but black-owned businesses? Because, you know, white women are considered minorities. And I wanted to know, because my district, I hear from the black residents that we don't get the contracts. We don't get the jobs. So I asked those questions and I said, hold up, let's stop. Let's take a breath. So those are the things that I will do, is I will ensure you that before I vote on something as a legislator, I'm going to ask the questions. While the assault on diversity, equity, and inclusion prohibits a lot of the companies from even considering that, it doesn't stop me from asking those questions.
That's right. That's right.
And can I just say one other thing? On affordable housing, I was at your summit that you had in North Carolina. Let me say, you all, for the ones who don't know this, we and myself and many of the Legislative Black Caucus members signed on to a piece of legislation, bipartisan piece of legislation, that now if you have a eviction on your record, it stays on your record for a lifetime. Well, the new law that will be going into effect, it goes the way it comes off in 7 years. So it's on your record. Now listen, the bill that we introduced was 5, but the compromise was 7.
Okay.
That helps people with home ownership. Because as they're transitioning out of an apartment, they can go into a home. The other thing for home ownership is we have to change the minimum wage so that people can afford homes. And then my last thing is, I asked you this one last time, is tell me what is affordable.
Thank you. All right.
One last thing, and I want to think about also Representative King, was that he's talking about
We have to be fair. We have to be fair. I already told you that. We have to be fair. Okay? Thank you. Thank you.
They need information about this.
They can come see you after. Thank you. So we will start with closing statements. We'll have Representative King. You'll have the call. Well, yes, thank you.
Let me first start off by saying thank you to the AKAs, to the bishop, to the Ebony Zion Church community, to Perry Sutton for agreeing to have this debate. Thank you. To the citizens of District 49, thank you. For the ones who have already voted, thank you. For whoever you voted for, but I hope all of you voted for me.
That's right.
Let me say, our work starts today, not tomorrow, not on June 9th. We got to come together as a community to make sure that we make not only District 49 better, but the state of South Carolina. The assault that is on our community, the assault that is on our voting rights, the assault that is on our children is real.
Yep.
And until we all come together, we can't make it any better. And so I pledge to you that on day 1, which will be June 10th, I will be working for District 49 harder than I worked before. You all have my cell number. If you don't, it's on my flyers. You all call out. And I don't have all the answers. I want to hear from you, because I can't answer your concerns in your community if I never hear from you. Don't blame me. Please call me and tell me what your concerns are. And I thank you for the spirited debate. I hope that you all will find something refreshing about one of us that you can vote for us. Thank you so very much.
Mr. Sutton, thank you. I want to talk about, before I get into my closing remarks, about she was asking about economics coming here. And so on that, just want to let you know that the city is also partnering with the school, Windsor University, Clayton College, and York Tech to make sure that when we bring those businesses in, if you go down Porter Road, most of those businesses, when they come in here, that they have the education so that they can get those jobs and make our wages like he was talking about. Now, thank you, AKAs. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, AKAs. Let's give them a hand. Let me tell you another reason I want to give them a hand. For 18 years, I think Coach Pat, we had 18 years, we held a Jadavion Clowney's camp right here next door in that Silver Circle, and AKAs have been one of our biggest supporters. We usually have 200 to 500 kids.
Wow.
This year is going to be the last one that we're going to be over. It's going to be over here at Armory Park on June the 20th. We thank you because you're helping take care of the community. Representative King, thank you. Now, we had a little tiff the other day, but I think we got it straightened out. And he called me and we said, listen, when this is over with, we're going to work together. So we are going to work together. Our biggest thing now, people, is we have to come together, not just black people. I tell everybody, YCDP was started by white people. We've got to come together as a country. I tell people 2 times this country's come together. 9/11 911 and what Hamlin got on the football field. We got to make sure that we come back together to make sure this country is great again. Thank you all so much.
All right.
Let's give our candidates a round of applause. So I'm going to turn this over. We're not done yet. We have some comments from the president, Dr. Troy Fitzpatrick. We're going to bring her up, but I just want to say it's been a privilege and an honor. Remember, voting is now. Early voting ends June 5th, and then the primary is June 9th. So please do your civic duty and vote. Thank you so much. Dr. Fitzpatrick.
Thank you. Was that not great?